Alright, little spreadsheet work here. We're making a game. It's a d20 game. It involves you're going to roll 4 dice. So let's start off with the trial number. And then we're going to have roll 1, roll 2. You always check if Excel is smart enough to figure this out. Look at that. Then the total for the first 4 rolls will be total 4. Okay, so we've got what function can we use? Always do the equal sign for a function, and then it's going to be random something. So just type the first few letters, random between, and the little pop-up says returns a random number, and that's what you want. So it's d20, so, and this little tells you the format, this pop-up. So bottom is going to be a 1 or a 20, between 1 and 20. So it'll give us a random number. Notice every time you change cells, it'll regenerate that number. So in Excel, we can click this and it will copy. Always verify that it copied it right, because every value in a cell will copy differently. In this case, it just duplicated it. So the function to add up 4 rolls would be sum. It says adds all the numbers in a range of cells. Open parentheses, and you'll see the format. So it's number 1. To drag it, and this will give you a range. So the colon is a range from D4 to G4. You don't have to close the parentheses in Excel. You just hit return. It'll automatically close it right there. So that's a total. Now this game is not just a total of 4 die. It has a condition. So I know that the condition is going to be to possibly roll 2 more dice. So I'm going to just copy this. Control C, Control V, Control V, right? Double check that it did it correctly and didn't change any of these numbers. Looks good. And the condition, this is the grand total. So the condition was if the first, so he goes equal, if. Now the if is this is the test. So the first thing is if the total of the first 4 numbers was 20 or less. So in other words, if it's greater than 20, then your score, your total score for the roll is going to be that. So you can see value if true. So this condition is true. If the first 4 rolls are greater than 20, then that would make this true, and your score would be the first 4 rolls. If it's false, that would mean that it would be less than or equal to 20. Then you would add 2 more rolls to the total. So then the result would be the first 4 plus the 5th one plus the 6th one. Again, we don't have to close the parentheses, just hit return. So that is the magic here of the algorithm for this game, I think. We want to do this 10,000 times. So highlight the whole row. Let's drag it down once, and let's make sure this is right. So trial 2, we haven't changed any of these. This is just a random number between 1 and 20. D5 to G5, you can see it automatically changed the range so that it's the same row. Again, that's just a random number, and then it changed these also. So what we can do now is do this 10,000 times. So you just click and drag this whole box. The longer you hold it, the faster this will go, and in no time we'll have 10,000. So 10,000. Something like that. And then that's why you always label your trials, because they won't necessarily be the same as the row number. So it's off by a couple. Okay. So there we have it. I want an average, but I'm not going to put it down here because we don't want to scroll that far. So take note of the final row number is 10,003. So we just want to know the average score. So we use the function called average. Returns the average of its arguments. So this is just going to be a range, right? And we're going to start here. And I can use there's a couple different ways to do this. I can go Control Shift down arrow will actually do the whole thing for me, and just hit return, and it'll close the parentheses, and we know that's right. We can scroll down and verify that was 10,003 was the final number, and we probably want a whole number, so format cells, and we want a number with 0 decimal places. So the average score is a 43. I've already done this earlier, and we get the same answer. Well, that's the basics of it. There you go.